Hello, word nerds! Happy Sunday. It is Sunday, August 20th, 2017. We're here for a virtual write-in. And if you don't know what that is, we will be doing word sprints, 20 minutes at a time. We usually do 3 word sprints. Excuse me. But we do our word sprints, we check in at the end, share our word counts, encourage each other. Everyone is awesome. Any kind of writing is welcome, whether you're drafting, revising, if you have homework to do. Yeah. We welcome it all the productivity. You can also ask any writing related questions in the discussion section, and we will answer them in between sprints. Unless there's an insane amount of questions, theoretically we should be able to get to all of them. Also, we love the discussions going on right now about veggies and Parmesan cheese. It's awesome. Someone asked what everyone had for dinner, so I figured that would be a good question for you guys to begin with.
I just finished a bowl of rice and beans that I was eating on the pre-chat. It was delicious, particularly because it was leftovers, so I didn't have to cook it.
Yes. We went out for dinner with my family, so I had a tuna melt that I didn't have to cook or pay for. It was pretty fantastic.
You guys are so lucky. I had to cook my food. I had broccoli cheese soup. Other thing about word sprints, we provide a prompt at the beginning of each word sprint. You are not required to use them, but if you're feeling a little stuck, maybe you could try using the prompt to help you out. Today's prompts are all eclipse themed because tomorrow is the eclipse in North America, and I'm very excited. Let me see if we've got any questions. If you ask a question and we get through like a whole sprint session and I miss it, please re-ask it. I'm not trying to ignore you, I swear. There's just a lot of comments and things get lost in the shuffle. Let's plan for our first sprint to begin at the 45. Does that sound good to you guys? What are you guys working on today?
I am, in theory, writing more of Magic in My Bones, which is my book coming out at the end of next month. So I need to get on that, but I can't find my plotting notebook, and I don't know where I put it.
It's a problem.
Yes. What will the plot do?
I don't know.
I think
yeah, I'm just working on the same thing, drafting this fantasy book, so I haven't written much in the last couple of weeks, so to get back into the
That all changes now.
Yeah. I've been doing a decent job writing, but it's been all things I'm not supposed to be working on. Like Kyra and I have been writing book 2, which a classic rule of traditional publishing is not to write book 2 until you've sold book 1. And I gave my agent like 3 ideas several months ago, and she was like, not this one. And that's the one that wants to be written right now. So if there's a day when I feel like I'm not in the mood to write, I write that one because it's like, it's writing.
You're a rebel.
Yeah. Today, I'm going to make myself write a chapter of the book that I actually should be writing, and then I can do whatever I want after that.
Good idea.
We had a question. Oh, first of all, we had a follow-up question for Emma. What kind of beans and rice?
They were white beans with tomatoes and kale that I cooked in the crock pot earlier this weekend.
So fancy. We had a question from Megan H. Have any of you ever written a fairy tale retelling? I was inspired to write one for Nano this year, and I'm not really sure where to start plotting / making it different.
I've always wanted to because I love fairy tale retellings.
Yeah, I attempted an Alice in Wonderland one once.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I want to go back and do an Alice in Wonderland one at some point, but I wouldn't like try to jump in I want to do a retelling. Look for the idea and build from there. Like find the thing that'll make your story different and build it from there. Don't try to force it, I guess.
Yeah. And I also like every retelling is like has its own level of like trueness to the original fairy tale. Like sometimes they'll be really similar, and sometimes it's just that you'll like recognize certain like plot points. So it just depends on like how close to the original fairy tale you want it to be. Is it like loosely inspired by the fairy tale, or is it actually like a retelling or based on the fairy tale? I guess that's the question.
Yeah. The book that I was in pitch wars with last year was a sort of retelling of The Prince and the Pauper. But it was like a very loose retelling, and I knew I wanted it to be a princess and a common female because writing girl characters is my favorite. And so for me, it was like, okay, how do I make this extra interesting? Let's make the princess evil because all my characters are also evil. And then from there, I just like I didn't delve too deeply into the fairy tale because I didn't want it to mimic it too much, if that makes any sense. Like I read maybe like the original once right at the beginning, and then I didn't look at it again, and I kind of let the plot take me where it wanted to go after the princess and the pauper switched places. I think most of my favorite retellings are gender bent.
Yeah, I like this one. I really like ones where like it's just different enough that it's like every once in a while you're like, oh, that's that from the like I love because I love Beauty and the Beast. It's my favorite fairy tale, and I love the retellings where like something happens and you're like, ah, this is that moment in the original fairy tale, instead of just being like, oh, I know exactly what's going to happen because it's just the fairy tale with like a slightly different setting or something.
Yeah. I would highly recommend reading any of Rosamund Hodge's books. She is excellent at retellings. All of her books are retellings. She wrote Cruel Beauty. What are the other ones?
Crimson Bound.
Crimson Bound.
And then there's the Romeo and Juliet one.
It's like Dark Flame, Cold something.
Cool. Yeah. I didn't like that one as much as the fairy tale ones, but it's all right. If you like Romeo and Juliet. I guess maybe my problem is that I don't like Romeo and Juliet.
We've only got 1 minute before it's sprint time, so I'm going to give the prompt, and if I missed your question, we will come back to it in between. For your first prompt, write a moment where your character can see the sun and the moon at the same time. And we will check in at 5 after the hour. time. How did everyone do?
I found my notebook and I wrote 337 words.
Yay!
I didn't have to find a notebook, but I only wrote 100 words.
I wrote 450 after a slow start. It turns out when you don't write a project for, multiple weeks, you kind of forget the plot. Wow. Rachel.
Hello. Hello everyone that's watching. I'm very late. I'm also one of the word nerds. You didn't see me last week. I exist. Hi. Oh my gosh, transit was being awful today.
Really?
I jump in when everyone was being quiet.
You came in at like just the right time.
I know,
stopped.
I was watching. I was like, well, if I come in now, I'll just scare someone, so I'll just like sneak in as soon as they hear like, oh, time, we'll like start talking. I can be like, hello.
Perfect.
Oh, be sure to let us know how you did during this word sprint in the discussion section. Megan H got 230 while getting lost on the internet researching retellings and making a Pinterest board. Classic.
Yes.
Yeah. Diane got 494. William got 228. Great job, everyone. Oh, what are you going to be working on today, Rachel?
I think I was gonna be working on some poetry.
So fancy. Janessa got 82. Nocturne Kelp got 353. Claire got 244 during editing. Kay Wrestler got 144. Shanice got 247. Alexis Prone got 531. Writing and K-pop was dealing with a foot-biting kitten, so didn't get many words down. But kittens are cute. So worth it. Danny Darling just got exciting news that they're going to be published. So yay!
Congrats.
So exciting. We had a question. Just chatting with you guys a few days ago. Will you be doing word sprints for Nano this year? Most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
We try to do word sprints at least once per month on regular months, and then we do word sprints every Sunday in November while checking in for Nano and stuff. Philip Simpson got 206 words. Way to go, everyone. We are being so productive. We had a question. I wrote it down. I believe it was from Shanice. Why don't you start book 2 before you've sold book 1? And someone, I want to say it was Simone, answered that pretty well. But yeah, generally you don't want to write book 2 because they might have you edit something in book 1 that changes everything for book 2. And so there's kind of a general consensus of like, hey, you might not even sell this book, so why don't you put your time towards writing a different project? That way there's no time wasted. But I know that rule and I'm breaking it, and I'm fine with rewriting if I have to. The key is to know the rule and be willing to do that if it happens and if it needs to happen. I feel like for Kyra and I, we know we're going to publish this book no matter what, so. We had a question from Megan H. Sort of off topic with fiction writing, but any tips on writing college application essays? Which I love college application essays.
Oh, we don't have to do that here in Canada.
What, really?
Not that I know of. Not any place that I've applied to.
You don't, what?
I mean, maybe other places do, but I applied to a bunch of colleges and universities, and I'm actually switching schools this fall, and I didn't have to do that.
That's amazing.
I didn't either, but I only went to like here college is like community college and university is university, and I only did college, which lets you in as long as you have the requirements. So
I don't think we had to do super involved essays for the university that me and Megan went to. I think it was like write 300 words about yourself. Yeah, it was like 3 really short ones, like 300 words about yourself and like 300 words about your goals and 300 words about someone else.
No, aren't we helpful?
My advice is to find an interesting angle. Like if you can pull in a cool metaphor, because I did not have the GPA to go to the school that I went to. So I feel fairly confident that it was just my essays and extracurriculars that got me in. And for my essays, I tried to do like a metaphor for each one. So I'm like 5'2" if I stand real straight. And so like my whole about me essay was all the things that I'm short in. And then like contrasting it with like I'm big in heart and blah blah. I can do all the things. So yeah, finding something to make it like interesting and fun. That's not the same for if you're going to grad school.
Yeah.
They don't want that when you're going to grad school, from what I understand. Shanice said, don't be cliche with your essay and include quotes, things like that. Yeah, like don't quote Mark Twain or the dictionary or anything.
Quote the dictionary.
The dictionary defines student.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh God.
She also said, this should go without saying, but be honest. People tend to embellish on essays, and it's distasteful. They will inevitably find out about your lies, which is also true.
It's like, don't embellish, but also don't sell yourself short. Like,
yeah.
Don't be like, I'm just average and normal. There's nothing great about me. Like,
I'm just picturing getting that essay as like an admissions person. It's just like, all right then.
I guess, if you feel like it. If you have extra space, sure.
I won't put up a fuss and I'll get at least a C average.
I won't be a disgrace to this university.
Yeah. I'd be like, yeah, okay, sure, sounds fine. Like,
we had another question from Annette. Do you ever have a good idea for a book, but because the idea is so intense, you just can't seem to start the actual writing?
Yes. All the time.
Yes.
I'm so worried that I won't do it justice.
Yeah.
Or I'm like, how do I write this character's horrible backstory into their current behavior? I'm just like, oh man.
Like sometimes it's a really cool idea, but you're like, but how do you execute that idea?
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
it's a really cool concept. What does it entail? I don't know.
I'm always like, this person could be this person, and then they could have this thing in their past, and this person can be that person, and have this issue, and I'm like, I can't, no, it's like too much, it's too intense, and I'm like, oh, okay, like plan it out more first.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really, there's some books that you start reading it, and then that like one inconsequential thing in the beginning ends up being like this huge thing later, and I'm like, how do you do that? Because I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to have that, and I just, I admire it so much, but I haven't been able to write anything quite that good yet, so I'm gonna keep trying. We'll see, maybe one day.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer that any book that you're going to finish is going to feel this way. Like there's going to be that feeling of there's no way I can do this and there's no way I can pull it off. Because any book that you do feel like I can totally do this is going to be so easy, you're going to get bored with, and you're probably going to stop writing it, or you'll finish the draft and realize you don't want to revise it because you hate it. And the thing is, like, yeah, you probably aren't capable of writing this idea yet. Like, you probably don't know how, and you're not going to know how unless you just dive in and go for it. Like, none of us know what we're doing. I still don't know how to write a book, and I've written 7 of them.
Yep. I still have no idea what the plot of the book that I'm writing is, but I don't really know what the plot is. Like, yes, this is what it's about.
It's what revisions are for.
Yep.
Right now we're shoveling sand into the sandbox, and then we're gonna make the castles later.
Oh, that's a good metaphor.
I think I heard it from Kelly.
Oh, Kelly, that's a good metaphor.
Kato Gal said, "Oh, no Erin today. Tell her we missed her. We will. She's at a wedding."
Boo.
Having fun
Love.
without us.
Love.
We're only supposed to go to weddings together now.
Yeah. What's even the point of a
in
wedding
the
if we aren't all there?
Self-publishing world, there are 2 authors I know and then one that they know, and they're like 3 very close friends, and they've decided, and they're all doing very well, so they have decent money to spend, that they've started a contest that they will go to a reader's wedding. They will pay to get themselves there. They will buy you an amazing present, sit in the back and cry during the ceremony and all of that. They just have to like apply to have these authors come to your wedding because they thought it would be fun.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Amazing.
That's so funny.
That is so cool.
So if you imagine like one of them is like your favorite author and you're getting married, it would just be like mind blowing of like, yes, I will do this, please.
Exactly.
Let's set our next sprint for the 20. Yeah.
Sure. Fair. Yeah, but like for the previous thing, I'm like, well, y'all are married, and so, like I'm single, like really single over here. So like, don't expect that to happen with us anytime soon.
Or we get all super successful and just go to other people's weddings for fun. And we'll
Yeah.
We just crash other people's weddings.
Yeah, exactly. There's a huge guest list that we'll never know.
Yeah.
Everyone will just assume that someone else invited us.
Yeah. We'll just hang out at the hall where Kelly had her wedding. Just like wait there until someone shows up for a wedding.
They do like Boy Scouts on Saturdays. But
we won't go on Saturdays.
And they do photography club on some day of the week. We saw them.
Oh yeah.
We were setting up.
Like Friday night, I think.
Yeah, I think
we wanted
Friday
our
night.
chairs. It's like, don't you see we're setting up for something important here?
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
like, we have to move the tables back to where they were. We're like, but we've already set them up.
Exactly. Rude.
Do your photography club over there.
We had a question from Janice. Any idea how to get motivated to write again? I've finished my book, but I'm just in a slump when it comes to revisions. Food motivates me. Like if I go out in public with my laptop and I'm like, I'm gonna write out here and I'm paying for food, and like I have to do stuff. I paid $3 for coffee.
Any kind of new location can do a lot for like just kind of rebooting you of like, oh, I'm in a new place. All of that stuff that didn't work before, none of it matters now. Just kind of let yourself start fresh somehow.
Yeah. Oh, and I know this is bad for the trees, but you can recycle. But I love printing out my book when I'm about to start revisions. That always gets me really, really pumped and just really feels like I did this. Look at this book I wrote. We had another question from Drew. How do you guys go about outlining when you have OCD and are never satisfied with how your outline looks?
Ooh.
Maybe give yourself like a hard deadline. You can play with it until this time. Then whatever you've got, that's what you're going with.
Solid advice. Yeah. And just remember, like, a lot of times you don't end up sticking to the outline anyway. So you might as well put all that energy into like writing the book. We had a question from Christy. That's going to be our last question before we go into the sprint. How do you focus on just one idea? Question, but I just can't seem to stay focused on my main idea, which is a sci-fi story.
I mean, if you find out that secret, like, let me know.
At some point, it's just you have to do it. It helps to find what is exciting about what you're supposed to be working on. Find a way to get yourself pumped to work on that again. Like, what is awesome in the next scene, or what about the characters do you really love working through, and then just get yourself excited about that project again and don't give yourself the option to do anything else.
Yeah. Or see if there's a way to like merge the ideas. All right. It is the 20, so we're going to go into our second word sprint of the night. It's going to be a 20-minute long sprint, so we'll check back in at the 40. And our second prompt, which you can use but is not a requirement, and is Eclipse themed, write a moment where it gets unexpectedly dark. All right, we will check back in at the 40. Yeah. That's my nightmare. I hate when it gets unexpectedly dark. time. How did everyone do?
384.
I wrote 2 short poems and did a bunch of character plotting.
Yay.
Still only in the 100s. This is one of those what are words kind of nights.
Yeah.
Just like staring at it, being like, I don't know how to say anything.
Yeah.
How do I put words together into a sentence?
I feel like if the words were coming easier, this would be a really good night for me, because I got 411 again, and well, that's a little less than last time, but I only wrote for like half of that sprint, and I had to spend the other half just figuring out what was coming next. And it's like, I wish I just knew, because then maybe I could write a lot. Janessa got 107. Danny got 817. Simone got 110. Tori got 173. Claire got 540. Philip Simpson got 262. Nocturne Kelp took a dinner break, but still got 70. Way to go, everyone. Are we doing one more sprint tonight? Are we calling it?
I can do it.
Awesome. We're going to do one more sprint. We'll probably move pretty quickly into the next one because we didn't have any new questions that I can see. If I missed your question, please re-ask it in the discussion. Drew got 100 words of outlining. William got 666 this time and said maybe I should add a word. Alexis got 307. Slina 1 got 0, but that's okay because we got one more sprint coming. Apogee 711 said everyone has amazing word counts, which is true. You guys are so good. Diane got 149. Do you guys want to plan for the next sprint at the 45, 3 minutes from now, or would you like 7 minutes?
I'm ready to just go back in.
Sure, let's go right back in.
All right, we're going right for it at the 45. William said, okay, I got 667 now. All right. So our next prompt for the sprint in 2 minutes is going to be write a scene. Well, I'm going to preface this by saying if you don't have eclipse glasses, you should not look at the sun because you will go blind and or die or whatever. But there is a way you can still like see the effect of it by making like an eclipse filter that I was reading about, where you can like use paper and like have the sun cast a shadow on the ground. And I thought that was really cool, and wow, humans are awesome to have come up with it. So for this prompt, I want you to write a scene where sunlight filters unnaturally through something and helps your character come to a realization.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yay. Eclipse. Oh.
See, when you said this, my first instinct was they're all going to be eclipse themed, as in like the love interest leaves town, and so your main character falls in love with.
That's amazing.
I should have done that. Missed opportunity. Just all overtly Twilight themed. Your characters are in a tent and it's cold.
Your characters are playing baseball.
Oh. And
Your
it's
character's
time.
really shiny for some reason.
Yeah. Your character's skin is glittering. All right. This is going to be our last sprint of the night. So, all right, your heart's out. If that literally happens, please contact a doctor. We will check back in at the 5 or 5 after the hour. And I will put the prompt in the discussion because it's really long, so I don't want to read it again. Good luck.
Isn't it?
Bless you. Time. How did everyone do?
I don't know, but Twitter was super interesting.
Twitter has been interesting, it says, as of late. Did pretty good. I actually wrote something. I got 301 words.
Yay.
Yay.
Yeah, I got 313, so it's definitely the best one.
Woo.
Yay. I had my best one too. I got 487.
Nice.
So a great night was had by all. Diane got 396 words. Drew got 200 words. Made in the SOS got 70 words. Sorry, I'm going back up and making sure, or reading through everyone's comments. Thank you so much to everyone who has participated in the discussion section. Philip got 269 words. William got 354. Danny got 588. Tori got 303. Nocturne Kelp got 221. Alexis got 463. Endor got 2 words. And he said, just started, maybe next time, which is awesome.
2 words is still 2 words.
Yeah. That was our last word sprint of the evening. However, if you want to see more of these, we have a full archive of them. You can go to wordnerdsvlog.com, and it's just in a little menu bar, and you can watch all our past write-ins. And while we don't answer your questions live, I still sometimes like to have the 20-minute set right out for me. Let's see. Shanice got 167. Be sure to enter our giveaway if you haven't yet. We're giving away a ton of books, some international, some US and Canada only, but definitely something in there for everyone to win. There's going to be 10 winners, so like the odds are really in your favor.
Yeah, that's a lot of winners.
Yeah, there's a link down in the description to where you can enter the raffle copter for it. Shanice asked, how do I let go of the internal editor when sprinting?
I personally don't think you have to, unless you're like wasting a lot of time doing it. I know not everybody's the same. Some people feel like they really have to turn it off and just write, but I actually like to go back and fix things.
I think you'll have a better sense of what needs to be changed while you're in the story. So if it's something super minor, I let myself go fix it if I can do it in 10 seconds. If it's bigger than that, I just leave myself a list of what needs to change in the next draft so I don't get too distracted. But having that editor kind of there, just not too distracting, can be helpful, I think.
Yeah. I like to just look at my keyboard when I'm writing, when it's a time that I don't want to get distracted. Like I'll just watch my fingers type, because if I don't see the words that I'm writing, then I can't go back and fix them because I don't know where they are. Or I'll like turn the screen like really dim.
That would drive me crazy not being able to see it.
Yeah.
See, I never learned how to type anyway, so I always have to like look down at my fingers every now and then.
Yeah.
But we've got a lot of new subscribers here. Welcome. We're so happy you found us. And we're getting a lot of questions about this. You may notice if you've been watching some of our older videos that we don't have the exact same lineup of word nerds as we had right at the beginning. And that's just because we've been doing this for a long time. Things change. Kaylin was one of our original word nerds, and she had a second baby and has been making sure that baby does not die, as babies are wont to do. She's raising a new
pretty important task.
People.
Teaching another human how to human, so like
yeah.
You know.
So you might see a video from her in the near future, though. She's been drafting one up and working on it, and misses you guys a ton. We also had Erica, who was one of our original word nerds, who has since gone on. She had life get a little crazy and is now studying to be a paralegal. So good for her, changing the world, yay. We also had Leah with us for the first few weeks, which is like crazy throwback. Leah has awesome, nerdy, great books out and focuses on those now. So that's all our WordNerds past and present. Lionel asked, do you ever get emotional writing about characters?
Yes.
Yes. If I can make myself cry, I know I'm doing a good job.
Yeah. I feel like I get more emotional when I like realize partway through that they're mimicking something in my real life. Like, it's just like the third book I wrote. I realized like towards the end that all these terrible things were happening to the sisters. And I was like, oh my gosh, the relationship is just like me and my sister, and now all these bad things are happening. I'm not seeing any new questions. If I missed your question, please ask it again very quickly, because we've been going for an hour and a half-ish, a little more than an hour and a half, so we're not going to stay on for too much longer. Congratulations to everyone for writing words. Even if you just got one word down, that's incredible, and you're one word closer to having a book finished. Next week is going to be our book club. It is The Call by
Peter
O'Gillen. And it's supposed to be really good. I haven't read it yet. I read the beginning.
It takes like 2 hours. It's so
yeah.
good.
Yeah, it's a very small book. So like just even if you get it tomorrow, you'll still have plenty of time to finish it before the chat. We're really, really excited to talk about it with you. We've got one final question from Tori. I found that I get really excited over my project and finish it, but I never have the motivation to edit. How do you get the motivation to edit instead of just starting another new project?
That's my problem. I'd much rather write a new thing than deal with what I already wrote.
Yeah, I think I got like halfway through editing my first manuscript, and I was like, yeah, but this new thing is like super cool and fun. It's still sitting there. I mean, it's not a fantastic book, but it's still sitting there half edited, so maybe one day.
Yeah. For me, it's deadlines of like, this book is going out on this date, so if I want it to be garbage, I can ignore it for a few months, or I can get to work.
But this is also your full-time job, Kelly. Like,
it is one of like 3 full-time jobs.
Okay, it's one of 3 full-time jobs, yes.
Usually, my advice for revisions is to wait a little bit in between your draft and your revision. But in this case, I would recommend just trying to move like straight in, like you finish the book and just go for it. Like if you know your motivation is going to go away instantly the second you put it aside, then you may as well just get started and like don't give yourself time to come up with a million new ideas. And when you do get ideas, because sometimes they just come, like write them down, but go back to them later. Like you have to make yourself do it. All right. Thank you so much for watching today, WordNerds. We're here every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, mostly. We have our book club next week, and then we will probably be doing more writing-related things after that. Be sure to subscribe to us because we love new subscribers, and you'll get little notifications in your subscription bar thingy when we have new videos up, which is every day of the week. And we will see you next week. Read The Call by Peter O'Gillen. It's creepy and gory and dark, and it's great. hopefully the end holds up too. I'm very excited. We will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.